Serious and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord to do his will, I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put your faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo.
American honor don't lack no soldiers. For the spirit of the Lord, we don't lack no soldiers.
Saint, black, Hispanic, native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ and they image, hate you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell toilet connected to the saint. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lies sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under YAHANNA, ain't he murdered by them and got a hug from YAHANNA. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game, put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí. Lord Commander General YAHANNA, I.S.U.P.K.
This is what Commander General YAHANNA did. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. I had to dig.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Barakatam to all the brothers, Yahweh Shamar Latham Ba'Hashem Yahushai to all the sisters. I'm Priest and Officer 500 Barak Yalla with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. Since 1960, we'll be giving you nothing but the truth about these scriptures, the Bible that you think is a white man's book, but it's not. You understand? This is the record of the biblical Israelites who happen to be so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the true 12 tribes of Israel, not these bastards over there, as we're going to say in every single class, not to be disrespectful, not to be out of line, but this is biblical. This is what the Bible calls them, bastards that dwell in Ashdod, Mamzers, or the synagogue of Satan, not these imposters over there in the so-called Middle East bombarding Palestinians to smithereens. These are imposters. The true biblical Jews of antiquity are the descendants of slaves that were in captivity in North, Central, South America, and the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, the bulk of these slaves are. You understand? And it's so important to know that, because knowing your identity is really like the basics of anything, of what people call knowledge of self. How can you have not, like, especially the so-called woke community, right? The knowledge of self. You don't even know your own people. Y'all call yourself children of the sun, children of the corn, children of the water. You know, the children that blow in the wind. That sounds crazy. So I can pause. You know, but the point in, y'all have no knowledge of self, and then you want to call yourself like y'all are woke and you have secret knowledge. Listen, you know what the secret knowledge is? Is knowing who are the so-called lost tribes of Israel. There's been one of the biggest conspiracy theories about where are the lost tribes? Where are they located? Who are they? Since 1969, we've been giving you nothing but the truth about who are the lost tribes. You understand? What culture they practice? What language do they speak? Their societal, I think the societal norm of the lost tribes, which we are not lost because we know who they are. And even before 1969, other nations all the nations knew who you are. Christopher Columbus traveled from Spain to the Americas, right, with a Hebrew translator to communicate with the people over here that he called natives or Indios. You understand? Why? How can he bring just a random translator to figure out, maybe these are Hebrews? He studied the Apocrypha. He studied where the 10 tribes went. Where is that so-called land called Arsareth in 2nd Ezra 13th chapter? They say he mistakenly landed in America looking for India. At that time, where India was not a secret. They knew the trade routes to India. They knew India was to the east. You understand? They knew where Africa was. It was no secret where Africa was. It was no secret where India was. You understand? I.S.U.P.K. Indianapolis. I think that's Captain Kapash. SHALAM. Why for tuning in. So again, even using the term lost tribes, right? Most likely Captain Kapash. Around. Even the term lost tribes would be incorrect because Christopher Columbus knew where to find the 10 tribes. You understand? They have old maps of Western Africa after the Southern Kingdom fled the Roman oppression, and they settled in by the African, they call it the Gold Coast, right? Around Benin, Guinea, Nigerians, whatnot. They have old matter says Kingdom of Judah, meaning Kingdom of Judah. So they knew exactly where we were. They knew exactly who we were. They didn't just sell random dark-skinned people in Africa. They didn't do that. Why would you need a translator? You need a translator to communicate between you and a certain people. You're not going to bring a Hebrew translator to China. He don't speak Mandarin. He don't speak Cantonese. You understand? So this is just to start the class that, since 1960, I've been telling the truth about who are the real biblical Israelites who happen to be so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the real biblical Israelites, right? And today, Lord allow, we don't have to do a part 2. I don't like doing 2-3 parts classes, but if need to be, we will. The topic of the class, big up Commander YAHANNA and all the men he raised, from all the captains, the officers, the troopers, the young men, the sisters, right? This class is a reminder that I got from Captain Sakawar. He the one who inspired the class. Of course, like Eddie Menabuzz, it said, that's the Lord. But shout out to Captain Sakawar. You understand? If y'all haven't watched one of his last class, I think one of the last 2 or 3 classes, he mentioned the word that was reminded to me as well by Officer Yatazar, I think a year and a half or two ago. Zeitgeist. And that's a word that I heard coming into the truth as well. You know, we're going to see the topic of the class is called Zeitgeist and Illuminati. And as we go through the definition of Zeitgeist and Illuminati, Lord Allah, we I don't think we're going to be able to cover it in one class. I might do a part 2 next week. You're going to understand why it's so important to be grounded in this truth. Why it's so important to come to these classes, to watch all these podcasts, you know, the Take Ground. I think they have Take Ground Radio in Louisiana with Officer Madabar and Nakawan. Heads of State, hosted by Captain Hadar Yala. One West Ground Zero, Across the Line, Black Watch. Being in all these classes, you understand? These shows coming to these cookouts. The cookouts coming up. First up, Nashville. You know, it's more than just gathering together for a barbecue. Like witnessing the spirit of brotherhood. You know, seeking counsel, studying these scriptures, meditating on these precepts. Like, what we're about to understand with this class tonight is how important is this truth. And this truth is stronger than anything. What Zerubbabel in the, real quick, Zerubbabel said, the woman is strong. The woman is the strongest thing. He says, Salak, pussy is power. I'm just paraphrasing Salak, my language. But what is more powerful than that? Because men have lost their wits for women. Men stole for women. Men work for women to death. Men go to war for women. A woman is so powerful. But what is stronger than that is the truth. Let me bring that precept real quick before we dive into the topic, right? I think is it first or second Ezra? I know it's chapter 4. Yes, first Ezra. I'm gonna share my screen right now, right? But I'm gonna just go right where he says it. First Ezra chapter 4, verse 38. Y'all could go through the whole chapter, even starting at chapter 3, you know. But for time's sake, long story short, he said the woman is the most powerful, but more powerful than the most powerful thing among men is this. First Ezra chapter 4, verse 38. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. You understand? How do you know the truth is always strong and the truth is stronger than that woman? Listen, Adam didn't have to work. You know, Eve was powerful. Eve had that power over Adam. Adam fell weak. Adam went weak, and then he let go of the truth momentarily. Like, all he had to do is obey the Lord. That's it. But that woman, boy, look at Will Smith. Nobody would ever thought. You see the man playing in movies like Hancock and thing, right? You think, oh, he's a superhero. What's the movie again with the cancer patients? The cancer patients, they look like they have rabies or something like that. I Am a Legend. That's my favorite Will Smith movie. You would never have thought that Will Smith would have been emasculated the way he was by his woman. Till this day, that woman is powerful. You know, look at Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is in jail because, damn, it don't matter if it's the tears of a woman, if it's the smile of a woman. She look at you any type of way. She look at you like with disgust, and you think, damn, listen, I'm gonna still go for it. You understand? But what's more powerful than that woman? What was more powerful than Eve? Zerubbabel told you, listen, the woman is more powerful than the king, is more powerful than wine that makes you lose your wits, but more powerful than the woman is this. First Ezra chapter 4, verse 38. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. There's nothing stronger than the truth. You understand? It liveth and conquereth forevermore. That woman that you're married to, that you lose your wits for, she's going to die. If she doesn't leave you. You understand? Why? Because everybody dies. It's the normal cycle of life. But if she doesn't leave you, because maybe she's not the great woman that you thought she was. Maybe she's a whore. You understand? Or maybe she's a monster. Who cares? Whatnot. Just know that the truth is the strongest thing on the planet. The truth is the strongest that abideth forever. There is nothing stronger than the truth, you know, and this is what we're going to see today. Listen, let's first go into the definition of zeitgeist, because you might hear this word like it's some type of conspiracy theory word, especially when paired with Illuminati. But this is the problem with a lot of people, right? Especially when it comes to the Bible. You understand? Hey, Yabashin Shabrakatah, or Mosai in Christ, Aizan Ban Yashikar. Shout out to Aizan, newly raised trooper in DC, right? Mosai in Christ. You understand? The truth is that, real quick sidebar, the truth is that all you fake Israelite cannot stop the truth. Mexicans, I don't give a damn how light or dark they are, regardless of their hair texture, are Israelites. Mexicans of indigenous or Negro descent are Israelites. All Latinos of indigenous or Negro descent are Israelites. And you just really hate your own. I just had the quick sidebar, right? But the thing is that, especially when it comes to the Bible, people do not look up definitions. They don't give a damn about context, but they don't look up definition or etymology of certain words. And this is what we're going to start with. Let's go with Zeitgeist. What does Zeitgeist mean, and how does it pertain to today's time, right? By the way, anyone in the chat who's not in school, make sure y'all click on the sign in and sign out link at the beginning and the end of the class. Let me share my screen again. Zeitgeist is a German word translating to time spirit or spirit of the age, referring to the dominant cultural, intellectual, ethical, or political mood of a specific defined era. Should I even break down more what Zeitgeist means? Zeitgeist is, let's call it the norm of society, what's common in society today, right? How people act today, what is accepted, the spirit of the age. The spirit is a vibe. You can understand how the spirit is a vibe. It's not like a ghost. It's not a poltergeist. How is it so not so difficult to understand what a spirit is? It's simple, because when y'all have the spirit of Christmas, what do? Damn, I just gave y'all the answers. Good night. I did not mean to give you the answer that quick. But pretty much, the spirit is a vibe which make you do certain things. The spirit of Christmas is the vibe that makes you dress with red. How people dress? Red, white, and green in Christmas. I forgot the color scheme in Christmas. They make you put lights everywhere, put up a Christmas tree, give you that feeling of family reunion. Just for one day, you sit around your child molester. You sit around someone who try to unalive you just for worshiping Nimrod. That's this Christmas spirit. You smile, you go out, you have snowball fights, gifts, whatnot, whatever y'all eat during Christmas. What is the spirit of New Year's? Getting ready to change yourself. Well, that's what you believe you're getting ready to do, because you're the same whore after January 1st anyways. Every year, your body count do not reset. Talking about more money, more life. In the meantime, we say more money, more life. You sell more drugs and kill more people, But what is the spirit? The spirit is a vibe that you act upon. That's it. So when understand that, so you understand when it says Zeitgeist is time spirit or the spirit of the age or society. You understand? And let's keep reading. It represents the collective mindset, trends, and defining attitudes that distinguish one period in history from another, which is really, how you want to put it? I don't want to say it's, I forgot what's the word exactly. I'm going to say hypocritical, for lack of better words, because when we look at one period of time in history from another, you see when people talk about the New World Order, the New World Order is in the Bible, but it's not what you think it is. The New World Order is a new order of society, something that has never been seen before, something that the world has never seen before. When we look at the history, especially when you study it, each world era period of time in history of any it don't matter if it's a major or minor empire, has been built off of the remains of the previous empire. For example, this empire that we're in is a damn near carbon copy of the Roman Empire. It was a copy of the Greek Empire, a copy of the Egyptian, which was a copy of the Babylonian and the Sumerian. There is nothing new. When Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun, there is nothing new with each empire that passes by. You understand? Nothing. So even the term New World Order, let me bring it up real quick. Even the term New World Order would be incorrect based on the definition, just the word itself, New World Order. It needs to be something new, something that has never seen before. And it's in the Bible. Something that has never been seen before, but that will last, a kingdom that will last forever. A kingdom that is not based off of the foundation of any previous kingdom before. That's the New World Order. That's something that is new, that has never been seen before, and that will never be seen again. Why? Because it will last forever. It will never fall. It will never be brought down. To say that it will never be seen again. It will last forever. Let me bring this precept up real quick. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world." This is the world that's been, then you could damn near say passed down from generation after generation. That's been copied, that's been modeled after from generation after generation, from people after people. It doesn't matter if they steal it. It doesn't matter if they get inspired from it. It is not something that's new. Like this whole spirit or zeitgeist of depravity that was there during the Roman Empire, that was there during the Greek Empire, it was there during the Egyptian Empire. All of them had that spirit of depravity. You understand? Whether it's accepting all types of sexual deviancy, all the pagan gods, really, they're just renamed and remodeled. Like you see all those white Greco-Roman gods, they're what? Egypt used to worship animals. So that's why they have half animal, half crocodile, half man, half cat, half woman, half bird, half whatever. You understand? What did the Greeks do? The Greeks worshipped planets, and they had to make them look homosexual. The Romans did the same thing. They just renamed the gods, but they're all the same gods since Babylon. So what is actually new when it comes to the next empire? Nothing. That's why when you read that scripture, this is described in the New World Order right here. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, "For Esau, which is the biblical name of the Edomites or the so-called Caucasian race, is the end of the world." This is the end of society. This is the end of the old world. You understand? Of the old society, because it's the same under a new name, under a new people, or a new tribe. And Jacob is the beginning of it. Of what? It's of the world that followeth. Jacob, whose name was changed into Israel, the forefather of the Israelites, is the beginning. We are the foundation of the new society that's coming after this one. Not the Egyptian, not the Romans, not the Babylonians, but the Israelites. And our foundation is right here. Our blueprint is this Bible, is this record, the law, statutes, and commandments, that book of life. The law, the statutes, the commandments. This is our foundation. This is our blueprint. This is our constitution. And no one else is based off of constitution like ours. You understand? It don't matter how they rename it. It don't matter if they built a whole religion around it without following what's in the book. Because if they don't follow what's in the book, you clearly could know that they're not following the plan. They're not following the blueprint. They just claim to have it. They never opened it, or they just lie about it. You understand? But this is the new foundation of the new world that is to come, of the new order that is to be established on this planet. You understand? Let's get back to Zeitgeist, right? Salakia. Again, what is the Zeitgeist? Zeitgeist is the spirit of age. And what do we see today? What is the spirit? What is the vibe that we see today? I just gave y'all a couple examples already. Just in case y'all haven't paying attention, right? I give you a couple examples of the vibe today. in society, right? What is the vibe today? You understand? Ask yourself that. What were we told already in the church? What are we being told in the church? In what does the Bible contradicts about what the church says is in the Bible? You know, what is the vibe today? What is the vibe that you see when you go outside? Like, don't look at it with a. Sometimes you have to have, like, you know, especially when coming to truth. Like, you reject every aspect of the world, but when you look at what the world has to offer, we would say nothing. Everything is meaningless, like Solomon said. Every vanities and it's vexation of spirit, waste of time, and it's meaningless. It don't mean nothing. But what do the world or society offers you when you go outside, when you turn on the TV? What have you witnessed lately in the news or in the tabloids? What's the message that you hear going around? You know, anyone can answer. I'm gonna give y'all a few seconds to answer because it's directly linked to the class. Like, what is the, you know, what are people talking about? Anything. Just name some stuff. You understand? We got Officer Adiyar joining us in a few seconds. Shout out to Officer 1000 Adiyar. But what are people talking about these days? Aizan said the world offers sin. That's not incorrect. But in topic with the class, you see where it says Zeitgeist, right? Let me share the screen again. Zeitgeist is the spirit of the age. The spirit is a vibe. So what is the vibe like when you go outside, Aizan? What do you see? You know, what is the vibe of society? Let's read it again, right? Zeitgeist, spirit of age, referring to the dominant cultural, intellectual, ethical, or political mood of a specific defined era. Aizan said wars. Damn right. And that's biblical too. But what else? Because wars is correct. You know, but it's not just wars. And until I get something else besides wars, you know, shout out to Aizan, I'm going to show you where it says that there's a spirit of war going about as well, which is included in this modern day spirit of the age or this society. Let me pull up Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red. This is one of the spirits. When you read, there's going to be 4 spirits. They're going to be unsealed or let out, right? And one of them is a red horse, or more so like a red, I'm not sure if that's the word in English, cavalier, the horse rider, right? And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. That's one of the spirit, that the one that Aizan is referring to, wars. Because what's the opposite of wars? What's the opposite of peace? It's war. So if peace is taken, the war is brewing. You understand? And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. That's the spirit of war that is going about. But what else? You know, what's another vibe? What else is going on around the world? And it's important to understand why you have to be in these classes, why you have to sign in, right? Why you have to get your Hebrew name, why you have to be anchored in the truth, the home of the truth, the one and only truth. There is no truth outside the I.S.U.P.K. If there is, show it. And you'll miserably fail. But what other thing that you see in the world? I'm going to give y'all like probably another minute, and for time's sake, I'm going to give you the answer before we jump to the other definition of the title of the class, which is the Illuminati, right? So what else do we see? Again, based on the definition of Zeitgeist, right? What Aizan says, so like I say in the U.S., a lot of homosexuality is promoted. Damn right. Sexual depravity, sexual deviancy. I'm gonna just say it like that. He's right. It's not just in the U.S., in the so-called Holy Land. Salakia. Tel Aviv, the capital of the state of Israel, is about to have the largest pride parade in the Middle East. I thought this was the Holy Land. Let me see if I can find the clip, because some people still don't believe it, right? They successfully protested in the state of Israel to sexually assault Palestinian prisoners, and they're chanting in Yiddish, Sodom and Gomorrah. Wait, if you're the true chosen people of Israel, aren't you supposed to be against Sodom and Gomorrah? Why are you chanting Sodom and Gomorrah? Let me see. Let me see if I could pull up this clip real quick. There you go. Listen, it's on YouTube. Y'all can look it up yourself. I'm like, it's not something that's hidden. It says, Israeli protesters rally for the right to quote unquote rape prisoners. That was 2 years ago, and they said they effectively did it, meaning they were successful. Not too long ago, there's an article that came out that, you know, a Israeli prison guards are admitting using knives to sexually assault Palestinian prisoners. It don't matter if they're men, women, or children. They say they're using dogs. They were caught on video, and then they were, what's the term? I think exonerated or pardoned. You understand? See, they're chanting in Yiddish, saying, I'm not sure if y'all can see it. They're saying, this is Sodom. How so? I thought Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of their depravity of those cities. 5 cities destroyed. Make it make sense. You understand? I thought y'all supposed to be the chosen people. Again, just to point out what Isaiah said, it's not just in the U.S., that's in the so-called Holy Land, right? And forget about Canada. In the city of Toronto, every summer in the city of Toronto, devils, Edomites, they don't just parade. They ride their bikes naked in the middle of downtown in broad daylight. You know, imagine that. Like, we're asking to us to be left alone. We're asking to be a holy people and to be separated. You know, let us be, you know, have a so-called Black Latino neighborhood. We can't even have that. But when the rainbow community asks for it, they have a whole neighborhood. They call it the village. You know, if we ask for something, they say, yeah, you have the slums, and they have the village. You see how everything that's associated with us is bad, but they have to make it seem like what is associated with them sounds great. It's a village. It's a community. You understand? So again, you know, another point is wars, depravity. What else? Something else that is promoted, you know. And when I say depravity, you know, it's all types of depravity. It's not just homosexuality. It's whoredom as well. That's why I told you what's in the news today. Megan Thee Stallion has been cheated on by Klay Thompson. And now it's a whole debacle because women are preparing a mass cheating. They say, you see how Amber Rose had the slut walk a couple years ago? Now women, not just sisters, but women in general say we're going to support Megan Thee Stallion by doing a mass cheat first. We're all going to cheat on our men to support Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know if I should explain this or not. You know, matter of fact, let me bring this precept up because I forgot, you know, and this is going to go perfectly with what this statement said, these dumb women said. And I pray for you sisters, any sister that plan to do this, watch this class, right? Because this is the perfect precept for y'all. Bear with me 1 second. It's going to be, I think, is it in Proverbs? No, it's Job 39:17. For all you dumb broads out here, right? I don't want to get a channel clip or flag. That's why I don't say the B word, because I probably should. You know, I definitely should. You understand? Because y'all gonna complain about black women are not protected and this and that, right? What did I say again? Job chapter what? So like I said, Job 39 and 17. Talking about they're going to cheat first. This is what it says, right? Job chapter 39 verse 17, because God had deprived her of wisdom. Do I have to explain to you that after cheating on your man, especially after announcing it, whether you announce it or not is irrelevant, you're not going to have a man no more? Like, do we really have to explain to you that? Do we have to explain to you that you're a whore and you're for the streets? Imagine that. Neither had he imparted to her understanding. That's why y'all are dumb female dogs. I don't want to get the channel clip. I would have said the B word unapologetically. You know, Yeshaya, Shalam, Yabashin Shabrakta, and Ingenieur, Yabashin Shabrakta. Ingenieur said, even though I don't speak English, I'm not sure what language you speak. If you speak French, I could translate it. Je parle parfaitement français. You know, whatever question you have, put it in the chat. Peu importe quelle question tu as, mets-le dans le chat. Pas de problème. If we have to do the class if we have to be bilingual in the class, so be it. We'll speak in tongues so that everybody could hear it. But this is the point. So we talk about war, we talk about sexual depravity, whether it's all types of deviancy, whoredom, homosexuality, but what else? Something else. Two more things. Just two more things, and then we'll move on. Two more things. Think about what's being promoted. Two more things. You know. Think about what's being promoted. Just two more things. Let me see if I get this preset for y'all as well. French et créole m'ont parlé. Pas de problème, frère. Si tu as des questions, mets-les en français dans le chat. Et si je peux te demander, Nathan, quelle est ta nationalité? Quelle est ta nationalité du côté de ton père? Aizan says, some Christian church have, get damn. Listen, that's how I know the church do not believe in the Bible. How do you have a woman pastor when the Bible says that a woman should not teach? It's not about teaching like an individual, teaching it. She should not teach a congregation. You should not be a pastor. Now, if a sister wants, shout out to Aizan, any sisters that want to teach Aizan how to make better tacos, listen, teach Aizan to make tacos. Aizan needs a Benjamin rib so she could teach him how to make some oxtail. You know, that's what it is. Any sister want to teach us how to perfect our cooking skills? Welcome. Teach us. Now, if you want to, that's what you should do. Teach us how to make amazing unleavened bread like we had at Passover. Now, if you want to teach us scriptures, you want to teach a class, don't even do that in your dreams. I'm going to just help you out. Don't even dream about it. It's simple. Don't act on your thoughts about, I dreamt, I had a dream. Martin Luther King had a dream as well. Don't even think about that. Moi, c'est haïtien de père et de mère. Most are in Christ. So Nathan is a so-called Levite brother. He said his father is from Haiti, right? M'a suivre si m'gain question. Pas de problème, frère. Just make sure you ask your question. If you have any questions, t'as des questions, n'hésite pas à poser des questions. But again, for time's sake, I'm gonna give it to y'all. Drugs. You understand? Hey, shout out Aizan, if I'm not mistaken, his camp leader is Captain Mashak Mayam. Shout out Captain Mashak. You understand? But drugs, not being sober. Let me see if I can find that precept. That's something. I was gonna go there anyways, but should I go there now? Let's go to 1 Thessalonians 5 and 6. We might go back to it again later. I'm telling you right now, we're going to do a 2-part class. I guarantee you that. On va faire deux parties de la classe. Et Nathan, tu peux cliquer sur le lien de présence de la classe. De toute façon, quand on fait nos classes en anglais, on les refait toujours ensuite en français. Tu comprends? Et les dimanches, dans nos classes en créole sur I.S.U.P.K Haïti, pareillement. So when we do our classes in English, we do them in French. We have a scripture breakdown in French every Saturdays on I.S.U.P.K in Montreal, France, and IET. And Sundays, we also have our classes on I.S.U.P.K IET as well, specifically in Creole. So, do not worry about that. But let me see what Priest said. 1 Thessalonians 5. That's it. 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 6. Bear with me 1 second. But that's another point, right? People are high as hell as a kite, and that's what's being promoted. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 6. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others. Y'all, especially y'all weed smokers out here, fentanyl users. Y'all leaning like zombies, like y'all don't have no spine. Like you would see people, leaning like, damn, is this for real? Hey, Shalom, Adawan, Yabasha Shabakata. We have also 1000 Nadia are joining us.
Hey, Shalom, priest, Yabasha Shabakata. What's going on?
Everything to Wab, Adawan, Mosai in Christ, why for joining us, Adawan.
I'm about priest.
But again, this is another part of the spirit of zeitgeist of modern day society. They're high as hell. Bible says, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 6, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Meaning what? That doesn't mean you can't drink. After class, I'm about to give me some strong. I'm about to give me probably some brandy. I'm about to give me some strong. Doesn't mean it's unlawful to drink. It's talking about when it's talking about being sober, be vigilant, be attentive. This is something you're gonna hear, especially in the school. Keep your head on a swivel. You understand? That's what it means. Why? Because as we're breaking these down, right? And I'm gonna repeat it in French for Nathan. Je répète en français pour toi, Nathan, dans 2 secondes. As we're breaking these down, watch this. How many of y'all are not even aware of what's going on out, like what is common in society is really not normal. Now we're just programmed and conditioned to just accept any type of fuckery that's going on. We're conditioned for that. A couple years ago, I think I had cut my dreads then. Not sure if I was a young man or just a trooper, right? I was coming back from work, from slavery, right? And this cat, we're going to my recording studio, and we seen a cat next to a kid's park, some devil. Yo, this man, I don't know, he was doing the flag on a pole. But there's the diabolical part. This man was in a swimsuit or a Speedo or an underwear. And I was like, yo, somebody should call the police. Because you're next to a kid's park in underwear, just climbing like some type of light pole. Like, yo, park stripper or something. Hell. And the devil walked past by us, and he said, well, in life, we have to be, what did he say? We have to be tolerant. Like, it looks wrong, but you also have to be tolerant. The Bible do not teach tolerance for sin. What are you talking about, be tolerant? You understand? Where is that in the Bible that I have to be tolerant because, you run Epstein's Island? Where does it say in the Bible I have to be tolerant, to Jay-Z and not blast him? Because you know what? Yes, allegedly, he was trafficking girls to Epstein's Island, but he is a black millionaire. He is the face of black success. So we can't, bash him too much. We can't bash these celebrities. We can't bash who else? Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey with his idea, and listen, a lot of brothers, they may have the right spirit in some of the actions they take. That doesn't mean you're not going to be bashed if you do wrong. You understand? Who else? What's the brother name?
Salakia, the Christian preachers, and the pastors.
All the Christian preachers.
That's molesting, like the little boys and everything that moves.
Everything that moves is crazy. Why? I'm supposed to have respect of person because he claims to have a title of the man that's supposed to lead the flock of God. Again, he claims. We know it's not right. There's no respect of persons. You understand? And that's the problem. What else? All you weed smokers out here, you're not realizing we should not listen. When something is wrong, you have to speak against it. You understand? So we're gonna, just like we speak against you cokeheads, we're gonna speak against you weed heads as well. You're not supposed to smoke. It says to be sober, be vigilant. How are you vigilant and you're high as hell? You know, listen, I spoke to some cat I used to go to high school with, right? He's a heathen though. We were talking about some stuff, and I was like, yo, the impending war and this and that. He's like, what are you talking about? There is no war. And I realized two things. First of all, I'm speaking to a heathen, so it don't really matter. But then again, it don't matter what type of nation you are. How you gonna tell me there's no war? You know, how you gonna tell me there's no war? People are getting bombed. There's not a war. The U.S. went to war with Afghanistan. Was it not a war? You understand? Next thing. What else? The last thing, I'm gonna just give it to you for time's sake. Integration, not interracial relationships. We just talk about sexual depravity. Integration. We're all a melting pot.
Right.
That's a lot of people are realizing it's a lie. It's a lie. We're not all a melting pot. Integration was a mistake. Like you're talking about, oh, we should all be accepted. All right, so why don't you preach integration with Palestinian and Israelis? Why don't you preach that? Because you're forcing us to, it's really integration. I don't like this word. It's really more so assimilation. Because when we integrate, it's like when you look into it, you have to assimilate the body that you integrate to, right? Now, considering the fact that you assimilate the ways, the culture, the customs of the body that you integrate to, meaning you enter into, Salakia, you mix with, you be part of. What you are has to become part of something. Meaning you're going to reject everything you are to become part of whatever you integrate with or assimilate with. This is why you have that dumb broad, that Mexican cop saying she hates niggas. She's not racist. She's not Latinos are racist. You know how many how many Haitian police officers we have in Montreal that hate niggas? What about all the police officers in Jamaica? They hate Jamaicans and they're black. They're Jamaicans. In Mexico, the police officers is beating Mexicans. She's not a racist Mexican. It's like General Muhammad said, she's stupid. She's a dumb idiot. And for all we're trying to spin a narrative that it's because Latinos are racist. Well, she's just an idiot because guess what? ICE would arrest her. What are you gonna say? ICE would arrest her just because I don't know what's her name is, Gomez or Gonzalez. Who cares? She's a sister and she's stupid and she most likely would be arrested by ICE, just like I would be arrested by ICE. She would be arrested by a Mexican ICE. I'll be arrested by the black ICE. Now, who's racist?
So like if I may, she's just a nigga that doesn't know she's a nigga.
That's it. She's a Spanish-speaking nigga. I don't even know she's a Spanish. I don't even know if she speaks Spanish. I just know she's stupid. But see, this is the problem. When you're not in the truth, you can't see past what's being promoted in front of you. And again, on the side of integration, this is why you have people like her. You have people like those 5 black Memphis cops that unalived this autistic Memphis kid while he was screaming for his mom. They were black. They're alive another black man. You understand? It's the same. Because now that they assimilated themselves to whoever is in power, they have to let go of their blackness and become blue. And that blue is a uniform that's provided by the forces in power, which are, listen, I'm just saying it's the white man's world. I'm gonna say the white man's world, you understand? Isaiah says she's a product of her environment. Damn right. And that's sad because what is being pushed in our environment? Again, topic of the class, zeitgeist, the spirit or the vibe of a defined era. This defined era that we're in right now, which is the same as the Romans. Do you think during the Roman Empire was only just white Romans everywhere? We were there. How do we know we were there? Because Christ was crucified by the Romans. Christ was a nigga. The apostles were niggas. They were called niggas. You understand? All these empires, don't think that all these empires was it was a homogeneous society. It was not only the same people in an empire. They had slaves. They had other empires that they had other nations that were above the class of the slaves. You understand? The Roman Empire spanned from the capital of Rome to most of southern Europe, then most Europe, parts of Asia Minor, the Middle East, you know, parts of North Africa. So you had Africans. You understand? The Arabs, during the Arab conquest after Muhammad died, they went to Pakistan. What do you think Pakistan is a Muslim country? What do you think Africa have Muslims? So each empire did not just have a homogeneous society. Homo meaning the same, right? And it's the same today. You have the people in power. It's like a pyramid. You know, at the top is the elite. Who's the elite? It's the Caucasian race. You understand? You have all these nations that are put in position to oppress us, and then we're at the bottom of the barrel. Who's we? So-called Black, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And this is integration. There is no such thing as equality. If there was such thing as equality, it's 2026. How are we still talking about white privilege? How are we still talking about Black Lives Matter, Brown Lives Matter? What did it say? There is no illegal on stolen land. Why is this even still a topic if we're all equal? In British Columbia, before we move on to Illuminati, in British Columbia and Canada, white people are afraid they're going to lose their property. Apparently, they're in a land battle where natives might get the land back, at least in British Columbia. The white people are going crazy. It's like, damn, I'm going to lose my property. Well, it was never yours to begin with. If you are worried about giving back what you stole, maybe you should just not have stolen it in the first place. I think that's just common sense. But what do I know? I'm just a nigga. Niggas don't know shit, right? But I just know I just have common sense. You know, it's like a criminal talking about, I don't want to go to jail for the crime that I committed. Well, maybe you should not have committed a crime, and then you will not go to jail.
Right.
It's that simple. What it say? You can't do the time, don't do the crime. Tell that to God when he sends Christ back to deliver his people. It's like we're being long-winded. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a part 2 of the class next week. You know, let's go to the definition or the etymology of Illuminati. In Salakia, if you want to chime in at any moment, of course, let me know. I don't want.
No sweat, no sweat.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, push this truth. Everybody should be able to have access to this truth. I don't care if they speak French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Creole, Dutch, Italian. They still speak Latin. Share the class. I don't care if they're racist or not. Share the class. If they have Wi-Fi, I don't give a damn. Just share the class. Now let's go into Illuminati, right? What is the Illuminati? People think it's a society. What is it? What they said, the triangle. They used to do that in concerts. Yo, that was funny as hell. The triangle and the eye. Yo, we were in a concert one time in Montreal. You see everybody do this. People think everybody's possessed. Everybody was high as hell, and they just followed like sheep. That's what it is. Illuminati is not a magical term. Illuminati is the plural Latin term for illuminatus, meaning enlightened or illuminated. That's really what it means. Originating from the past participle of the Latin verb illuminare, means to throw into light, to make bright or light up. Hence the term enlightened or illuminated, right? The name designates groups, plural, not one sect or what do you call it, secret society, claiming, again, it's a claim, it's not fact, Salakia, claiming superior intellectual or spiritual enlightenment. That's how I know y'all are dumb as hell and y'all high like as a kite. Because those same people who claim enlightenment are the people that says, well, it's your body, your choice. You understand? And that life form is not a lot. Salakia, when you say something,
No, I was just gonna say they call themselves woke today.
Hey, what does the light do at night? It wakes you up. You know, but that's the problem. That's a false light. These are the same people that tell you, well, Mexicans are Spaniards, just to come and find out that most Mexicans are indigenous. You know, the same people that tell you like you need to take a DNA test. It would show that you are not an Israelite. Well, maybe the Rothschild and what's his name, Benjamin Netanyahu, and all the Israelis, maybe they need to take a DNA test as opposed to making it illegal over there. And we'll see if they're truly from the land or not. Just maybe. You understand? Oh, y'all all Africans. I had to look this up. Where does all African comes from? Some racist Charles Darwin, literally, y'all go on Chat GPT, look it up. Anywhere, look it up. Charles Darwin said, we all come from apes. Africa is the place where there's the most species of apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, or whatnot. So this must be the cradle of civilization. They have apes over there. We come from apes. This is the Illuminati. You understand? The devil. That's really what it is. The Illuminati. Matter of fact, let me bring this up real quick. What is it? Talking about being enlightened. I'm going to show you enlightened. Enlightened is about to be plunged in darkness. What is it again? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. This is the chief of the Illuminati. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? That's your Illuminati right here. Lucifer. You understand? It's not talking about a fallen angel. I think when you go up to verse 6, is referring, it's a title. You understand? It's a title, king for the king of Babylon. And we know we're in spiritual Babylon right now.
Right.
We know that. See, that's the problem. People do not read context. They don't know about etymology. They don't know about basic definition. They can't even read a couple of verses up just exact for context. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? You bright star in the sky, you that shines the light, that claim to enlighten people. What did they claim? They claim to have a superior intellectual and spiritual enlightenment. Meanwhile, they tell you drink bleach and you'll get rid of COVID. This man said he drinks Diet Coke to get rid of what? Cancer cells in his stomach or some I don't remember.
They have investigation now that's saying like those sodas and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, they're giving you cancer.
Listen, you know, that investigation that soda's giving you cancer. Meanwhile, you have the so-called president telling you we're the strongest nation that drink Coke to get rid of cancer cells. If you have COVID, drink bleach. That's the only thing that he was correct about. Bleach will get rid of COVID in every living cell in your body. That's not incorrect. You'll get rid of COVID. You'll get rid of life if you drink bleach. That's a fact. So I wouldn't recommend to drink it. But if you do, COVID and every living organism in your body will perish if you drink bleach. And that's your Illuminati. That's the enlightened ones who tells you, what else did they say? Let's see if we can find a quick quote from the Illuminati, right? Because this is the zeitgeist, that era of being enlightened, you know, quote from Illuminati. Let's see if we can find a quick quote from Illuminati. Good night. Illuminati quotes. There's 85 of them. I don't even know where this is amazing. Let me share my screen there, right? This is the Illuminati. Quote from the Illuminati. It says, the poor remain poor and the rich remain rich because of what they choose to fill their minds with. Is that a fact? Does that apply to everyone? Is that spiritual and intellectual enlightenment? So what? Because drug dealers, a lot of drug dealers are rich. You know, they don't stay rich though. Solomon told you all the money you make is meaningless, and you know, the poor remain poor and the rich remain rich because of what they choose to fill their minds with. So you're trying to tell me that Haiti is poor because of what they fill their minds with? So you're trying to tell me that Haiti is poor not because France put a debt that is worth, what is the debt of Haiti worth today? What, $9 billion? To recuperate from the loss of labor after slavery? They used that money to build the Eiffel Tower today. And then the tax collector was the US. So Haiti is not poor because of that. It's poor because of their state of mind. So you're telling me that Mexico, they're poor. They lost California, Arizona, and Texas because of their state of mind? Is that what you're telling me? I'm gonna have to enlighten y'all, apparently. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 real quick. Let's start at verse 1.
So, like, if I may, before you go with that verse, you know what I'm saying, you have Jeffrey Epstein was a multimillionaire. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying, he filled his mind with, you know what I'm saying, babies and everything. Trump is a multimillionaire himself. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, he said grab them by the pussy. So, like,
damn. So this is what we have to say to be rich? Was Diddy a millionaire or a billionaire? It doesn't matter. I know he's a deviant. That's what you have to fill your mind with? I'd rather be poor. Really, I don't even know what to tell you. Crackheads are poor. DMX was a crackhead and he had money. So what is the Illuminati taught? I thought they had spiritual and intellectual knowledge. Let's see what our knowledge says. Let's not even start Deuteronomy 28. Let's start Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Let's see what our knowledge says. You understand? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. You know it's talking about the Israelites. It's the first 5 books of Moses, not the first 5 books of we are the world, we are the children. You understand? And we know the law and statutes, the judgment were brought to the Israelites. This is what? Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. You know? And even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. Wait, what did the Illuminati taught us? The Illuminati brought us superior intellectual and spiritual enlightenment. But this is what God gave us. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom,
right,
and understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Not the Illuminati. The Illuminati told you, listen, you're poor because of your state of mind, you're rich because of your state of mind. Epstein's state of mind was being a pedophile. Diddy's state of mind was being all types of deviancy that he got from Epstein and his peers. Everything. Megan Thee Stallion, I see a post. Let me see if I can see this post. I'm gonna show you who Megan Thee Stallion got her understanding from. You understand? Where is this post? Damn. I'm trying to need to zoom out a bit. Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can find this. I wanted to keep this for the show on Sunday. Right. Let me see if I can find it right here. If not, it's Tawab. Yeah, I don't see it no more. The point is this. I seen the post. Guess who? Amber Rose told Megan Thee Stallion, don't worry. Do not worry, sis. I can't keep a man either. I said, damn. This is where Megan Thee Stallion got her understanding from. A white whore. Our sisters are whores because they emulate white people.
Right.
Amber Rose, the one who said, let's do the slut walk, who regretted it afterwards, told Meg Thee Stallions, do not worry, because I can't keep a man either. You cannot make this up. When we tell you the black woman needs to stop following after the white woman, there's the proof right here.
Okay.
You listen after the slut walk, and now you have a bunch of women. We don't care about the heathen, but you have a bunch of sisters talking about, we're going to cheat on our man first. We're going to do a whole campaign, and all of y'all are going to end up single. All y'all are already single or have many husbands. Yeah, they have many men. Many.
But they're not wishing death, though. So, like,
they are the deaf. Isaiah said, misery loves company. Exactly. Yeah, they listen. They sleep with company, apparently. It's a lot, yeah. You know? And that's what it is. And see, this is the problem. And this also comes from so-called integration or assimilation. You know? And imagine that. Coming back to assimilation real quick, right? When have you ever seen a people that's in power assimilating to the people that they oppressed? When? Let's be honest. Come on. The people who assimilate are the people that are at the bottom of the food chain. They assimilate with the people who are in power. They assimilate with the slave master. The people in power will never assimilate. Like, okay, you see where the Bible says we're supposed to be above all people. The reason why we're not above all people, because we stoop down to their level.
Right.
But there is no such thing as equality. There is no such thing as being leveled. There is levels to this shit, like they say, but you can't be on the same level as any other nation, because once you stoop down from your high position, they rise above you because you can't be on their level. You're gonna be punished. Our level is to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. This is our knowledge. This is our wisdom. These nations look at us like, damn, they follow the law. They're smart. Now, if we want to be like these other nations that don't have the law, meaning we have to make it seem like we don't have the law, so we don't follow it, they look at us like idiots. Imagine, first of all, if we're smart, that means they're stupid. Now, imagine us following after stupid people. Do you know what East Indians do? We brought it up multiple times. You see how kids play in the mud, in the snow, in the sand? They play in feces. They have a whole festival. Their New Year's is called the Diwali festival. They gather. I don't even know how. What do they feed the cow to be able to gather that amount of feces?
Yeah.
That's diabolical. You see the whole village is literally feces everywhere. And not just because you walk into it, you see like how kids play in the mud, kids play in the snow. Imagine, as opposed to snow, it's feces, it's cow feces. And sometimes they worship it. You're gonna tell me you're gonna stoop down to the level of these people? Like, imagine the white man steals everything, every aspect of every culture from every nation. We know homosexuality was started by Africans. The white man stole homosexuality and perfected sexual deviancy, and you want to stoop down to their level? Good night. Now, when you read in the Hadith, right, it says that the so-called prophet prescribed camel urine as a medicine.
Okay.
And this is the people whose level you want to stoop down to? Should I name every single nation? Like, when we told you have universal practical knowledge, our knowledge is universal. Like, we know what we're talking about.
It's a lot. Yeah. Let's not forget, because of that law, what the so-called prophet, the false prophet say, of Islam, you had one of these Muslims that was selling his own piss, to other Muslims. And they sell pork to each other too. They make people think it's not pork, but meanwhile they've been selling pork to to those Muslims.
Matter of fact, in France, some of these restaurants they sell halal meat. It's cat.
Yeah.
You go to these Turkish restaurants, they sell you cat. Tell you it's halal beef. It's rabbit. It's cat. It's dog. It ain't no different than the Chinese, who we got COVID from because they did not know you're not supposed to eat a bat and animals you can get rabies from. But this is who you want to be. Like they look at you like this, they're putting you on a pedestal, but you refuse to be on a pedestal. And you know what's the problem? We already touched on that on one of these classes where we talked about righteous authority. Because of how beat down we were, and we still are, because of who's been over us as far as the ruling class and who's been in power, who's captive we've been throughout history, we look at being in power like we have to be violent like them. You see where it says, he that lead into captivity shall go into captivity, or in Isaiah 14, verse 1-3, where he's talking about the kingdom of heaven, we will possess them as our captives. It's like we were their captives. We look at the history of how we were captives and think that, oh, the Bible says we have to do the same thing. And a lot of y'all can't stomach feeding a baby to alligators. And I'm not saying you have to stomach it, but this is the image you have of being in power. This is the image you have of being in rulership, of, having these heathens who had you as captives as your captives. And that's the problem. We have rules. They don't have rules. We went over some of the atrocities they did in the French Caribbean, in the kingdom, right? You won't be unaliving a slave for fun. They did that not only to break the spirit of the other slave, but they did that literally for entertainment. Show me in the Bible where it is allowed to sexually assault anyone. Show me that. Because we have rules on how to govern ourselves, how to govern our families, our tribe, our household, everything. You think we don't have rules to govern our kingdom? They don't. They never did. That's what it says in Proverbs. Let's just get that real quick, right? Is it Proverbs? Salakia. We're gonna do a second part of the class next week. Salakia. I would see that. I don't like to do that, but sometimes it must be done. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. It says, when the righteous on authority, the people rejoice. And even in Revelation, it says, when the kingdom, the new Jerusalem is here, there will be no more cries, no more tears, no more death, no more sorrows. We will not be putting crack cocaine in the white man's neighborhood when he's in chains. You understand? Like, you think we're going to act like they did us. It says, when the righteous on authority, they used to rape our men, women, and children in public, in front of their families, skin the babies alive, feed them to alligators, feed us to hungry, starving dogs after dipping us in blood just to make sure the dogs are vicious. You think we're going to do the same thing? Mind you, it said when the righteous are in authority. What does it mean to be righteous? And see, that's the problem people skip. You just think authority, rulership. It says do to her double that they did you. So like I'm paraphrasing, See, you're so carnal, right? That you think automatically, well, it says that will happen. So they raped our women. Does that mean that we're going to do the same? No, it doesn't. It says when the righteous are in authority. What does the word righteous mean? You need to understand that in order to understand how you're going to be ruling. We're not a lawless people. We have rules. We have laws. And to be righteous means you follow the law, the statutes, the commandments. You're perfect. You understand? You can't even have sex with these heathens, much less unlawful sex. Sex is unlawful regardless with these heathens. What am I talking about? You can't. And the people will rejoice. Why? Because you won't have you're not going to commit a genocide on Palestinians. You understand? You're not gonna burn down Vietnam with napalm. There's not gonna be wars no more. They're gonna be finally there's order on the earth. Why? Because the new world, as we mentioned earlier, has been established. The new world order has been set in place. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And that's the problem. You see, everything you do, you model yourself after your oppressor. In everything you do, really. You want to fight white supremacy, you become Muslim. The Arabs are still oppressing you regardless. What are we talking about? You understand? Like, make it make sense. I think Will Smith said he followed like an East Indian guru, as if the East Indian don't oppress us. Go to Caribbean, they oppress us like never before. The Trinidadian prime minister said I still have this video. She said you need to load up your Matics and empty the clip on these criminals. She was not talking about the East Indian indentured servants. She was talking about the blacks and the indigenous people of Trinidad. While the biggest criminal in Trinidadian history is an East Indian indentured servant. Imagine that. That's probably her cousin. You know? You see, there's the problem. You need to stop modeling yourselves after these people. Because the New World Order is not modeled after any other nation. The kingdom of God is not built from the remains of any other kingdom preceding it. You understand? So like it for being long-winded. Let's see, we had another quote from the Illuminati. Let me see, another quote from the Illuminati real quick before we move on. Yeah, let's go with this. This one says, again, any questions or comments, y'all put in the chat. Says, the Illuminati operates in defense of you and all humans in all places and of all generations. Good night. Now, who could break this down to me? Who could break it down? The Illuminati operates in defense of you and all humans in all places and of all generations.
So, like, meanwhile, they're the ones behind the wars and everything, all this destruction that's going on in this world, all this evil, you know what I'm saying? They're the one, you know what I'm saying, behind it. You have, like, you know what I'm saying, the sex trafficking, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones behind it. You have, you know what I'm saying, organ trafficking. They're the ones behind it, you know what I'm saying? And this is the lies of the oppressor, man. You know what I'm saying? The oppressor, you know what I'm saying, is a damn beast, you know what I'm saying, a damn devil, you know what I'm saying, like a damn snake. You know what I'm saying? Like, he will tell you something, he will say something, meanwhile, all his action is the contrary. So, like,
Kyle, I'll make it even more simple for them, right? Again, check the etymology, definition, context, the source. It says the Illuminati operates in defense of you and all humans in all places. That's how you know the white man is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, right? The Illuminati was founded on May 1776 in Bavaria by Adam Weishaupt, a professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt. He established a secret society originally called the Perfectibilists to promote Enlightenment ideals like rationalism, free thought, and to oppose religious influence over public life and state power. The man say he wanted to do whatever the hell he wanted to do. That's it. You understand? That's really it. Now, Aizen, I see your question. We'll get to it in a second. Now, check the date and compare the date with the quote. The quote said the Illuminati operates in defense of you and all humans in all places and of all generations. Now check the date and tell me if that that coincides. Check the data. Tell me if that coincides. What is this date? What is this date? It's simple. We were slaves. We were not considered humans. What, Haiti freed itself, what, 1804? 1801, 1804? We were slaves. This man died in 1830. When he died, Martinique, where I'm from, listen, forget about Martinique. Canada was still, slavery was abolished in Canada in what, 1834? 35? Listen, see, this is the problem. The people who bring you enlightenment, you need to stop smoking weed. That's what it is. You need to stop smoking weed. There is no such thing. And at first, he called the perfectibilist, meaning to render perfect, right? Perfection, to promote enlightenment ideals like rationalism. You know what's rational? The white man is the devil. That's rational. You understand? Free thought. There is no such thing as free thought. God said, my thoughts are not your thoughts. We're not on the same level. I say something, you obey. There is no discussion there. If you don't want to obey, shalom, Lord be with you. And guess what? I'm the Lord and I'm not with you. And to oppose religious influence over public life and state power. Why? There was a time where the Roman Catholic Church was God to them. They were ruling. You understand? Yeah, they were over the kings. That's why you have different sects and branches of Catholicism and the Protestant. I think what I forgot it. I'm gonna have to check that with Dam Gabar. I think the Protestant church is because Henry VIII wanted to divorce and marry another wife. The church told him no, so he made his own version of Christianity, where now he could divorce as many times as he wants to marry any woman that he wants. You know, you have the Presbyterian, the Baptists. All these is all the same. The Roman Catholic Church just lost its a powerful grip it had on society. The Roman Catholic Church was society. Look at y'all watch a movie. I like to give y'all movies, right? Watch the movie. It's called Kingdom of Heaven. It's with what's the name of the white boy that plays in Pirates of the Caribbean? Not Jack Sparrow, the other white boy. Let me see. That's just for edification purposes, and it's a Tawa movie. What's the white boy name again? Orlando Bloom. Yeah. Watch this movie. It's like what, 2007, 8 or 9. It's 3 hours long, but it's peak movie, especially when it comes to basic history, because he had it was a major conflict during the Crusades. And during that time, really, what they're not going to show you though is the Israelite involvement anywhere in that time frame, right? But during that time is when you had the Khazarian Empire, who decided between the Christians or the Catholics and the Muslims. And that's why they were like, well, you know, they did a political move and decided to become Jewish, or decided to create Judaism. That was during that time, or around probably right in the middle or a bit before that time. But during that conflict between the Christians or Catholics and the Muslims, that's when it happened. Now, that's where you had two major powers. The king was representing the church. The guy with the mask, that's one of the kings or princes, I forgot. You know, he was representing the church, and on the other side, you had the Muslim representing the mosque. These holy wars that we have in today in the Holy Land, this is exactly what's going on. The difference is that as opposed to having a sword, they have guns and bombs. That's it. But now, what they're not telling you is it's only because the Israelites are in captivity that these wars are happening. If black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, the real biblical Israelites, were in their land, were in power, as they will be, you would not have wars. You wouldn't be fighting between Christians and Muslims because there wouldn't be any religion. You wouldn't have to worry about land that is being stolen from you. No land is going to be stolen. It's going to be righteous authority. You understand? Isaiah saying the Constitution, it says that all man is created equal, but slaves were 3/5 of a man. Exactly. Listen, that's how I know the Illuminati was not talking about you either. The Illuminati says it's for you and all humans. We're not even considered men. I'm from Martinique. Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guyana. Even though we're French on paper, they tell us we're not French. We're not considered humans. They call us the monkeys of the Republic. They're not even a fifth of a man. We're not even considered partly human. That's why they're poisoning us with carcinogenic pesticides till today. They steal the land. They put all the drugs. Watch the Netflix series Bandit. You'll see key facts that, well, it's actually the white man bringing all the drugs, not the French Benjamites. But they point the finger at us because, you know, we're what's the thing, expendable. You understand? Now, Salakia, is there a difference between the Illuminati and the Freemasons? There is. Well, they're devils, so I would say they're not. You know, I forgot the major difference between the Illuminati and the Freemasons. I would have to get back to you probably next week when we do the part 2 of the class. I think Masons.
If I may, it's just one branch of could say the whole group, the entire group. Like you have different branches. Like back in the day, you had the Illuminati Novitiate Minerva, which was one group. That was called the Nursery Group. Then you had the Masonic Greys, which included the Scottish and the Scottish rites and whatnot. You understand? Then after that, you have the Mysteries also, which included the priest, the Catholic priest, the princes, the mage, and kings. So it's just in one group of the whole thing. And even Freemasonry is divided by many subgroups as well.
And I think you also have the Rosicrucians or something like that. You know, listen, they're Christian. Just see them as the church. One is Baptist, one is Christian, one is Catholic, one is Presbyterian.
And Salakia, if I may add too, if you're a black man, you into Freemasonry, you're actually following white people. That's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You call it, you know what I'm saying, the Brotherhood. Well, your brothers, you're saying white people, the people that put you in slavery, that's oppressing your people. You calling them brothers, and you actually, you know what I'm saying, doing their bidding. Salakia. I think Brother Keller, you know what I'm saying, dropped out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just another subgroup, you know what I'm saying, like of all that, you know what I'm saying, because it's really the same thing, just like Brother Keller put it, you know what I'm saying, it's really Christianity. You know what I'm saying? It's like Christianity, you know what I'm saying? You have like all these different religion and, you know what I'm saying, denominations and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's really that. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They might have some differences, but you know what I'm saying, like at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's all made up by white people and for white people. You know what I'm saying? And at one point, you know what I'm saying, black people couldn't even be Freemason. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That was it.
Kind of the water, I don't want to lock you. The water, you know. But again, that's the time that we're in today. Again, how could I put it? Now that we established all these, right? Why is it so important to be sober, as we brought up earlier, or aware of what's going on? Because Aizan asked a good question. What is the difference between Illuminati and Freemasons? You know, let's see what Solomon said. Salakia. No, not Solomon. Or we could go there too, but no, I wanted to say this, right? When you dabble in a lot of knowledge and folly, as Solomon called it, you know, you're gonna lose yourself, and you're not going to see. You're not going to see. It's gonna create a fog. That's what it's gonna do. It's gonna create a fog. You're not gonna see what's the goal, because today, listen, talk to all the weed smokers. The weed smokers have the best conspiracy on the planet. A crackhead is entertaining. A weed smoker is I don't even have a word for it. It's pissing me off. It's like it. Why? Because weed smokers, they swear they have like unknown knowledge. If it's unknown, how do you know?
They illuminated now.
They're illuminated. They're lit up.
Good.
Your brain is fried. That's why it says to be sober and vigilant. Someone will tell you some dumb stuff, and now you think, you could teach that, oh, your son could become a girl and your girl could become a boy. Gosh, I'm even going to get started on this. The point is this. It's so important to be in that's why it's so important to be in the truth, because, getting back to it, right? What is Zeitgeist and what is the Illuminati? The Illuminati, they claim to provide superior intellectual enlightenment. When we're seeing what is enlightenment, we're seeing what is superior. I forgot to bring that up. Deuteronomy 28:1 says, if we listen to the laws, we'll be above all nations, we'll be superior. That is, our intellect is the law. And if we follow the law, we're superior. These Illuminati tell you we're all equal. In the midst of slavery in 1776, they tell you we're all equal. Who's we are all equal? Where is equality when we're talking about, we ain't even talking about Arab privilege or African privilege. We're always talking about white privilege. Even in Africa, white people have white privilege. In India, white people have white privilege. White people set the standard for how society operates. How do we know that? Look at every single world leader. Do you see the Japanese, is it a president over there? I forgot and I really don't care. The leader of Japan, what attire is he wearing when he goes to a meeting? Is he wearing a traditional kimono or is he wearing a tuxedo? Who sets the standard? Who sets the bar? You understand? And you think that, believing all your conspiracy theories, you will achieve something. Well, really, just believe the conspiracy theory that God is a nigga, Christ is the nigga king, and so-called nigga spicks and savages are the ruling class. That's the conspiracy theory that you should believe.
Right.
That's the greatest. That's the only true conspiracy theory that is actually not a theory. But you're gonna get lost in all this folly. Solomon got. Listen, let me get it. Yeah, let me just get that example. Is it Ecclesiastes? What is it? Ecclesiastes 1. Let's start with 17. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 17. It said, and I gave my heart to know wisdom. Solomon only asked for one thing from the Lord, is wisdom. And he spent time and time to just learn about everything. Solomon, through the book of Ecclesiastes, we're not going to go through that today. We're probably going to do a whole class on that. Solomon did everything under the sun. He tried to understand everything. He had projects. He built gardens, houses. It's like, damn, he had a throne of ivory. This Solomon was like, yo, I could do anything really, but it's all meaningless. But I'm learning how, trade routes, how to make business. It's people from all over the place used to come to Solomon. The Queen of Sheba did. And she did not have sex with Solomon. She didn't ask for sex. She asked for wisdom and knowledge. But Solomon gave his spirit. He gave his life to knowing wisdom. Right? and to know madness and folly. That's all you junkies. Y'all spend hours smoking weed, watching YouTube videos talking about, so aliens are real. Now let me go to Area 51, try to bypass security and see the gray man. That actually happened. People doing the Naruto running like Dragon Ball Z to jump to breach the security of Area 51. They're not afraid of bullets. They're too high to fear anything. Weed is then you're like, what's the drug again that the Japanese kamikaze used to take? Crank, PCP, crystal meth. Weed is like that. It erases fear of everything. You will do some dumb shit, some dumb stuff, just because you're high on a plant. And what you decided to know folly. You decided to observe all these conspiracy theories just to say, no, so you know what? Forget about being an Israelite. One cat told me we're the real Anunnaki. I said, damn, you cannot, I refuse to believe you are that high. Do you know that the Anunnaki is gay Babylonian gods? Man got mad at me. I said, damn. And what did Solomon say? And to know madness and folly, I perceive it that this also is vexation of spirit. This nigga's spirit got vexed when I told him the truth. When I gave him the wisdom and the knowledge about Anunnaki, this nigga's spirit got vexed. He said, I'm going to fly out to your location and we're going to duke it out or something like that. Nigga, you think I'm just going to give you my address? I don't care. Even if I do, you think I'm going to spend my time just to wait on you to come to my door? Hey, Lord, listen, Lord be with you. Ruby opens doors. Ruby, 100-some-pound Rottweiler, would open the door. The point is this. I'm not an idiot like you. And I don't see why you would spend some hard-earned money just fly across the globe. How you're not going to be mad that long? You're going to be on the plane like, why did I spend my money to try and fight some nigga that I don't even know what he looks like? It's because he told me the truth. Just sit in class. Come get this wisdom and knowledge. Put your heart to wisdom, to know wisdom like Solomon, as opposed to vexing your spirit while smoking weed, learning about the Anunnaki and what else did they believe? The reptilians. There is no such thing as a cold blood. Listen, people could be cold-blooded, could be mean and cold-hearted. There's no reptilian. This is not Mortal Kombat. This is not Pokemon. You need to stop getting high. That's really what it is. And that's the problem. You understand? Because when Christ comes back, you're going to realize just what Solomon realized when Solomon indulged in folly. Like when y'all indulge in trying to prove to us that Christ is God and he's the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, they're all the same people. When Christ comes back, trying to prove to us that Mexicans are not Israelites. Now you see Isaiah flying up in a chariot. You understand? Christ comes, you tell him about, well, these native are pretendians, they Siberians. You see Asa Karyash and Madara, Captain Sakawar flying up on chariots. You're like, well, damn. I spent my whole life trying to debunk the 12 tribe chart just to see everybody that I try to exclude go up on a chariot. What did Solomon say? And to know madness and folly, I perceive it that this also is vexation of the spirit. Your spirit gonna be vexed. You're unbrotherly to your brothers. Why? Because you are a racist and a colorist, and you adopted that mindset from the white man that lied about natives crossing an ice bridge. You understand? When they came over here during the Assyrian captivity, you try to exclude your so-called Latino brothers and include this disgusting, stinking, bone-eating, monkey sirloin grilling Nigerian when they're not going to make it on a chariot. You know who will? Yashakar ban Yashakar. He will. Zabalawan, Ashar, Naphtali, Manasseh, the Cubans, the Dominicans. You understand? You're going to be vexed. You're going to be looking stupid, dumbfounded. Why? Because of Zeitgeist and the Illuminati. That's why. Because of the spirit of the age. Spirit of the age is it's a trend now. Listen. I sent this to Officer Raka Aria because I'm scrolling sometimes, just looking, for content for our show right on Sundays and on Tuesdays. I sent this Officer Raka Aria from Boston. There is the IUIC Japan. I was like, damn. I knew they were going in Africa. Now they're going to Japan. They're going to India.
Yeah, I just seen them in India.
I was like, unbelievable. You're gonna be like them, dumbfounded for following idiots. That's probably just doing the Epstein stuff over there. You understand? You're gonna be dumbfounded and vexed that you were not in the truth. You never were. Not because we rejected you. We told you, hey, come sit in class. You said, nah, it's too much polygamy. Nah, Latinos are racist. You see the Latino cop? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she arrested a bunch of Mexicans. And where's she from? Houston, somewhere in Texas. I'm pretty sure she arrested a bunch of Mexicans. And guess what? I guarantee you, she arrested a bunch of Salvadorians. She arrested a bunch of Guatemaltecos. She arrested a bunch of other Central and South Americans. Do you know there's a term for South Americans called sudacas? You don't know that. Do you know I think Mexico and El Salvador hate each other for a football game? Now you want to complain about, yeah, she's racist. No, she's a stupid bitch. Salaki. I didn't mean it. She's a stupid female dog. That's it. Just like a lot of y'all. It's like a lot of y'all idiots that don't have this universal practical knowledge that that so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives are one and same people. And it's not, you make it seem like it's not common knowledge, but you prove you don't have history because, again, what's the definition of zeitgeist? Let me zoom in. Zeitgeist, which is the time spirit or spirit of age. Y'all have Google. Listen, I grew up, I remember my mom, my dad, they used to tell me, open a book. There was no such thing as, go on Google, go on Chat GPT. There's 10,000 AI companies you could look information from. 10,000 of them. You understand? Now you complain that you can find information. You're in a spirit of information. And it's since 1960, imagine 1969 where you didn't have all the YouTube and thing. I growing up, we're in the golden era of YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube. You can find the most crazy, diabolical thing on YouTube. Now you spend all your time on YouTube listening to all conspiracy theories. You can't just sit and watch a class and get this knowledge, this truth. And it bugs you because maybe you can, and then you hear, stop smoking weed. Like this nigga told me to stop smoking weed. You hear, stop sleeping with a white woman. Stop sleeping with an African. Africans are not our people. Now, as opposed to staying and listen what we have to say, like, you know what, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm going to go on OnlyFans. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm going to look up where are the reptilians and the hidden cities underground. The only thing that's going to go on the ground is your body after you choke on your last blunt. Salakia. You understand? It's Salakia. I mean, if you could hold it down for a second, for a minute, Baba Kusha.
Come on. You understand? I love. So this is, like why it's necessary to have these classes, and for you to share them classes because, we have been lied to for so long, and the ISUPK is in need in every household, in everywhere you have Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian because we bringing back, the common sense that our people need in those times. We bringing back, the real identity and the real laws, the real, morality, the real way of life, the savoir vivre, that our people need, in those times, because times are going to be ugly. As you could see, there's war everywhere, like even like, that's saying we African and we have to unite with Africans. Meanwhile, Africans right now, they're not united. You have South Africans that are, beating the hell out of, the Congolese and the Ghanaians and whatnot from Ghana and whatnot. You have those from Ghana that are, that are hating from those from, Congo. You know what I'm saying? So it's all gonna be war everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And the only thing that we're gonna have for ourselves is that brotherhood, that sisterhood, that love that we need, you know what I'm saying, to come together and leave all these false philosophies alone, man. You know what I'm saying? Because these are what, you know what I'm saying, push us to separate from one another. You know what I'm saying? I pass the class back to Officer 500, you know what I'm saying, Barkel.
Kawakan, the water other one.
I know.
Real quick, I want to go into some more precepts. Listen, this is what sometimes I have to do, like teacher 2, 3, 4 part classes. I have like 1,000 precepts for one class, and it's all related to the topic. You know, again, this is why you need to understand the spirit that we're in today. It's something that, well, again, the Bible is the blueprint, our blueprint, and it's something that we need to understand is this, everything that it offers us, like we brought up earlier, shout out to Izan in DC, right? Everything that the world offers us is nothing. It's all meaningless. It's like it's the society offers us nothing but death, depravity, lack of morals. Damn, look at white people complain about white people being on Epstein's island, and we still want to fall off to the people who complain about themselves.
And Salakia, I want to add this too, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, we know those politicians, you know what I'm saying, are in Epstein Island, but they're still gonna say we gotta vote. You know what I'm saying? Vote for another white man. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's some white man that's going, you know what I'm saying, to Epstein Island or has his own island. People still gonna be like, well, you gotta vote. Salakia.
Khan. Let's go into these precepts real quick before we end the class, because we're running short on time. Let's go to 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. You know, it says, love not the world. Everything that this world, this society has to offer, this era, the spirit of the age. You understand? Megan Thee Stallion. I listened to Blackwatch last night. Commander YAHANNA broke down some of these lyrics. In like without the music, some listen. I know a lot of y'all don't even listen to the lyrics. Y'all just bump your head to the music. It's like yeah, or whatever the case is, right? But Commander, listen to the lyrics with no. Just read it out loud. Like, is this really what these sisters listen to? Is this the Black Wonder Woman? Y'all really look at her like Black Wonder Woman. Listen, you want a role model for women? All the sisters in the ISUPK. A Proverbs 31 woman. These sisters they used to have a term. Was it last year? They said you have to be demure. Listen, a demure sister that has class, that has shame, is only found in the ISUPK. Not these women talking about a moisturized box. Salak. These you talking about advertising your vagina. That's prostitution.
Like a moisturized box that can keep a man.
That even can't keep a man. You wouldn't be able to keep a man in the desert. You're moisturized, you have more humidity than a swamp. You have more humidity than H2O. And you still can't keep a man in the desert. You wouldn't be able to quench one man's thirst in the Sahara Desert. We're talking about the wet ass box, like the wet box. You wouldn't be able to. But this is what you add. This is prostitution. How are you gonna advertise, that thing that is so precious to a woman? You understand? That's why the Bible says a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. You want to talk about you can't call these women bitches? Shame. There's a good shame and there's a bad shame. You understand? Shame is what prevents you from talking about your box, making music about it, and selling it, and just advertising it like giant poster. You see in front of the burger joints, you have the little inflatable thing with a poster on it. Yeah, that's y'all sisters in rap music. But that's what the world has to offer. The free, what is it? Sexual liberation. Good night. I'm reading this now. Cardi B compared her box to some mac and cheese. Damn, now we have to cancel the mac and cheese. Why? Because Cardi B decided to act like a white woman. So if we cancel the mac and cheese, do not be mad at me. Do not be mad at Aizan. But blame the white woman that Cardi B follows. You understand? It's that simple. Now, with that said, are we going to stop eating mac and cheese? I love mac and cheese. I ain't gonna hold you. You know. But now Cardi B's lyrics defiled the mac and cheese because she followed a white woman. But this is what the world has to offer you. The world has to offer you the depravity of the ones who are in charge of the world or society of the time. Let's keep reading real quick, right? 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world. That's what you were told, to not love the world. Do not love these whores. Listen, if you stop loving whoredom, they will not be whores. Sisters only portray themselves like that. You can put the blame on all these sisters regardless, but if we would not act like white men who love whores, then our sisters will not act like white women who are whores to please us, who act like the men who love the whores. You understand? So it's not to put the blame on the sisters, because the sisters only do this to please men, and men love whores because the men they follow love whores. Blacks, Latinos, and natives love whores because they follow after the white men who love whores. Therefore, our women are going to become something that we love, or that we think we love, or we condition ourselves to love, which is a whore. And who's the whore she's copying? It's the white woman. You understand? It's the white woman. And you can't tell me no. How many blacks, Latino, or native sisters you see put a red dot on their head and do a ting-a-ling-a-ling like they're East Indian? None of them. You don't see any whores like that. And East India, if you go to India, they have one of the oldest brothel in the world. But this is not the whore they emulate. They don't dress like geishas. Is that geishas? The Japanese whores. I don't remember how you call them.
Yeah, come geishas.
Geishas. It's too close to gay. It's too close to gay. It's like they don't put on what's it called again? The burqas, the ninja suits, the hijab and the burqas, and act like whores. Some of them do, but this is not what they portray themselves as when they do that. Now, when they act white, sexual liberation, feminism, slut walk, mass cheating on their man to support the black Wonder Woman who follows a white woman. You understand? That's really it. Let's keep reading for time's sake. Neither the things that are in the world, meaning what? Do not love this society nor what this society provides you. You come to Canada, especially on the west coast of Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia, every single drug is decriminalized. You can walk around, you get arrested with crack cocaine, as long as it's a recreational amount, you will not go to jail. You can have fentanyl on you, you can have heroin, you can have cocaine, you can have a new drug that's killing everybody. It doesn't matter. If it's a recreational amount when you're on the west coast of Canada, you will not go to jail. In Toronto, let me see if I could pull this up real quick. Drake just launched his new album in Toronto, right? He had a ice sculpture. He hid the date of his album release in the ice sculpture, right? And police came and arrested some of his fans. But why it started making headlines, because let me see if I can find the clip. There you go. This is why it made headlines, right? This is a Gadite. It says someone was seen shooting up on top of Drake's Iceman sculpture in Toronto. The police did not come. The police let it happen. They let a Gadite shoot up his arm. Right, that. And that happens all the time. The police do not care if blacks, Latinos, and Native kill each other. They don't. At all. I'm not gonna keep playing the video. You already know what's going on. You understand? I don't want to shame the brother like that either. But listen, the police did not care, and that's what the world has to offer you. The world has to offer you nothing but death and destruction when it comes to so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native. The police was there at the ice sculpture, Iceman or whatever they call it. They arrested fans. They arrested people for just disorderly conduct. When that Gadite brother was destroying himself, nobody intervened. The people who were around, they filmed and made a mockery out of him. That's in a city in Toronto, in downtown Toronto. Toronto, for those who don't know, that's the equivalent of New York in Canada. And it's not somewhere lost in one of the ghettos of New York. It's in the middle of downtown. You understand? In the middle of the major city. They let it happen. Yes, fine. As long as Black, Latinos, and Native kill each other, the police do not care. You will never see that happen in a Jewish neighborhood, though. You will never see that happen in the Italian neighborhood at all. You go to the Irish neighborhood, that doesn't happen. But this is what the world as a society has to offer so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Natives. So let me finish reading. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. We already know what love is, according to the Bible. So-called love of the Father, love of God is following the commandments. Everything that this world has to offer you is against the commandment. I just told you, you come to Canada on the West Coast, you can have any amount. You can have any recreational amount of whatever drug. You're fine. It's recreational. You just get high. You don't sell it. That's a fact. One devil, I think, was that last year or 2 years, he was selling all the drugs. He had, you see, like a coffee shop, you put a little foldable poster with the menu. He had a menu. He had crack, he had cocaine, he had meth, he had fentanyl, he had heroin. You think it's a movie. No, it's Canada. It's on the West Coast. The Lord is so poetic. That devil died of an overdose. It's a lot. Did not shed a tear. You understand? But it is very real. And this is what the world has to offer you. If you love that, the love of the Father is not in you. You understand? If you love, ain't nothing wrong with listening to music, but it is what you love and admire as far as the message that they push. You know, what's the sister name again? You could tell she's a product of abuse because they made a mockery out of her as well. But she portrays herself as her box is pink and her booty hole brown. What's her name? She's from St. Louis. She's Sexy Red. You understand? If this is what you're okay with, the love of this Father is not in you. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter. There shall be no whores out of the daughters of Israel. If you are okay with the lifestyle of, what's the little sodomite name? Lil Nas X. It says, there shall be no whores of the daughters of Israel, nor sodomites out of the sons of Israel. You can't be okay with their lifestyle. And that's especially for the Benjamite community. The Benjamite community, listen, it's all about, Batsy boy this, Batsy boy that. If it's a sister that is a lesbian, you don't give a damn. And this is why it's so important to be in the truth, because you can't be lukewarm. You have to be vigilant all the time, be sober-minded. Like you see the spirit of age that we're in today, it promotes all types of depravity. It promotes everything that's against us. And we talked about that with Captain Hadar during the show. How much money you think the government, just the U.S. government alone, puts in movies and entertainment? You know, they finance all these. It's not just out of the blue. Listen, Blueface is a horrible rapper. Listen, Snoop Dogg is what, 60, 70 years old, talking about crip walking. Nigga, put the blunt down, sit down, go do like Noah. Grow a garden, grow a field, and make some wine. You're an old man. Become a husbandman. You understand? Grow a field and not of marijuana. Something else. Because if you grow marijuana, which is not unlawful, you're going to smoke it, and that's unlawful. You understand? Teach the kids how to not crip walk. You're 60 years old talking about banging in Compton. Nigga, you live in what, Beverly Hills? I don't give a damn where you live. There was a march, I think it was the Game and T.I. marching for against gang violence. The Game is still talking about Paru, this and that. Every gangster rapper you idolize is a snitch. Gucci Mane apparently called the police or something like that because he got kidnapped by Pooh Shiesty. Like everything you idolize is fake. And nothing lasts. Besides what? We read it at the beginning of the class. What is the only thing that lasts forever? Before we end it, we're going to do part 2 next week. But what is the only thing that lasts forever? That is indestructible? Indestructible. I don't care. Listen about the English language. I just know one thing that lasts forever. That cannot be moved. That cannot be destroyed. You understand? I'm going to give you a hint. The ISUPK is the home of it. Under Commanding General YAHANNA. Before we end the class, anyone? And we'll bring the precept to prove it. No one, no sweat. This is 1 Ezra chapter 4, verse 38. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. Damn right, Isaiah. The truth, la neta, la vérité. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. That's why it's so important to be in these classes. The Brotherhood classes, the law classes, the history classes, the scripture breakdown, French, English, Portuguese, Creole, Spanish. It don't matter. It's the same. It don't change. It's so important to be in these classes because you were conditioned to love everything the world has to offer. You were conditioned to be okay with you thinking, I'm going to support the new Black Wonder Woman. I'm going to go cheat on my man. And then you're going to cry, oh, my nigga left me. Of course he left you. You left him. What the hell are you talking about? Listen, you are okay with being a whore. It bothers you that sex is marriage because, you know, it bothers you because it's normal for you to have multiple sex partners. It's normal for you to just to just test drive, right? And we did an example, right? I mean, sorry, I don't want to be too long-winded. We did an example. I seen this on social media, and SHALAM showed that during the show. You have a cup or a bottle, some drinks in it. If I pass you the bottle, I pass the bottle to Isaiah pass it to Adiyar pass it to someone else, you know, but I'm the only one who drank from it. You understand? We pass the bottle or whatnot, right? If I take back the bottle, I could just wash it off, right? Now, if I drink from the bottle, do you think anyone else is going to want to drink from it? If I put my finger in the bottle, anyone else is going to put their finger in it? Now, do we really have to explain to you how, listen, sex is marriage and it makes sense? Besides that, it's written in the Bible. You understand? See, that's a problem. You have an issue with the truth because you're so accustomed to these lies. You're so accustomed to living a lie that we are the world, we are the children, the integration, you know, world peace is achievable by, I don't know, by taking down the Illuminati. And the Illuminati hated niggas from the beginning. The Illuminati lynched you since 1776. You understand? We could support Megan Thee Stallion with slut walk. Nobody's gonna marry you. They're gonna tell you like Christ, you had 5 husbands, and the one that you have is not even yours. You're probably sleeping with someone else tonight. And this is why you have to get rid of the spirit. I'm gonna get this last scripture, right? We have to get rid of the spirit of this modern day and age, the zeitgeist. right? And we have to adopt the spirit of the Lord, which I'm going to give you right now. And we'll do a part 2 next week. This is the last precept, Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 27. And I will put my spirit within you. Because right now you have the spirit of the world. You have the spirit of society to accept every depravity, every, sinful ways of life. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes. That's the spirit you want. This is the zeitgeist to come. This is the zeitgeist that is prophesied. Because that age is knocking at our doors. That age, that society, that kingdom, this day and age is being built as we speak. In the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. So like the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General YAHANNA. You understand? And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. That's the spirit you want to have. That's why you can only learn the spirit where? In the home of the truth. That never changes. That abides forever. With that said, we're gonna end the class right here. We're gonna do a part 2 next week. Shout out to everybody who was in the chat, all the brothers and sisters. Aizan from DC, right? Salaki, Officer Adiyar for joining us as well. Salaki for rank and order. With that said, I'm pass the class to Officer Adiyar. We will be live this Saturday for our French scripture breakdown at the community center. Salaki, what's the phone number again? If you wanna be live with us physically, contact ISUPK Montreal at 438-816-2578. Against 438-816-2578. Pass this number to every so-called Black, Latino, and Native that you know in the surrounding areas of Montreal, Quebec, or whatnot. French, English, Spanish, it don't matter. We will accommodate you. You understand? Make sure you click on the sign in and sign out links at the beginning and the end of the class. With that, I'm gonna pass the class to Officer 1000 for the security announcements, and y'all get ready for General Mahaiman's scripture breakdown class live on One West online classes, or is it ISUPK One West online classes? Get all your questions answered. Bring all your problems. He will give you the solutions, and we'll see you for the next English Brotherhood scripture breakdown next Thursday, Israel. Shalom.
All right, clap it up. Gonna read the security announcement. We are the security announcement. We are the I.S.U.P.K started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers 18 verse 21, Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in Hebrew, Mahashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will, offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation. We will the next one will be the Feast of First Fruit. Starts after the Shabbat of the unleavened bread on sundown. Which will be Sunday, April 12th.
Sunday, May 31st.
Yeah, Sunday, May 31st, 2026, which will start before sundown. We could find it in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 10 to 22. if to all the brothers, you know what I'm saying, if you have a physical school, remember, you know what I'm saying, to check the bulletin board. If not, like, you know what I'm saying, like you're in Canada, you know what I'm saying, make sure, you know what I'm saying, you're in Montreal, get that number. We also have a number for Toronto, you understand? So, you know what I'm saying, make sure, you know what I'm saying, you contact us, get in our pages. You have question or need help, make sure you contact us. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, so like if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, they have to start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, headbands, or scarf. With that, we're gonna say courtesy salute to the brothers and the sisters, men of Israel, Amajam, men of Israel, Amajam Shabbat, Amajam, Barak, Yahaba Hashem Yajamatam. If you have sisters next to you, turn to the sisters. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amajam Shabbat, Amajam, Barak, Yahweh Shema, class Yajamata, class dismissed.
We have a gift that nobody can see, that was handed over to us to do something amazing. Take the gift, man. Take the gift. Take the gift, man. And let the Most High work in you to do something you have never believed.
I ain't even impressed what you expect. You see this shit? Hold on, there's one West on my chest.
One West world. That's it.
Fucking street code of the priest law. No stain, great Dane with the leash off. I ain't nothing of this world, I need a respawn. I just know they wish that I would stop, but I keep going. These fringes on my calf like a tube sock. I used to stuff the loose ones in my shoebox. And we came a long way from the curbside. Now we looking from the top from a bird eye. And I can't leave my brother on the battlefield. Lord, let the hell rain, we gon' see who real. And you know they gon' hate when they see a plate. So imagine what they doing for $250,000. And we really the only ones going to war. You niggas just be talking like y'all won the war. I made love to this truth and there's no divorce. My Spanish mommy call me Poppy like a corner store. Let me show you how to do it. City living by the word, I think it's time he proved. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And say the acting for the camera, this is not a movie. I pray to God I don't fall off. I ain't nothing like y'all. Niggas think they slime, cut their head off a python. Blame me for my outlook, never counted the lookouts. The world said I wasn't shit, but look how I turned out. Not so bad, huh? Why you mad, huh? We go hard, but go harder for the have-not. Listen, when that oil hit your leg, then you can't stop. Your feet better hit the ground running, this shit bedrock. Man, we tried to put him on, but he sleep. Waking up the people, that's the job for a priest. Hopped out the wheel, fringes swinging like a pendulum. You heard of the tribes, where the fuck you think they get it from? Look, I'm a soldier, get the order, then I get it done. Got some big shit to split the water, make these niggas run. Why you hurt? If I told the truth, then I showed you love. Let me prove it, wanna move right, let me show you how to do it. Let me show you how to do it. City living by the word, I think it's time he proved. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And say the acting for the camera, this is not a movie.
Don't step over the line though. Everybody, anybody, it's up for everybody. And that's not even, I got bigger fish to fry. I got people to say. I ain't even on a rap, so I already beat the rap shit.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West.